Hi, everybody. Hassan Sharik, regulated Canadian immigration consultant, back with our weekly live session on Canadian immigration. I have not been able to do these sessions for about 2 weeks. Like, this is the third week. So there was a break of 2 weeks. I've not really been able to upload a lot of videos and stuff on the channel as well. And that's all because of some really intense workload that I've had. Sorry for being absent and away. So I thought that I'll do this session today, and what a better time to do it, because we have had some major updates. And I thought it would be great to sort of share all those things. So first of all, hope all of you are doing great. I see a few people tuned in. So the regular attendees, welcome back. Whoever is watching, I would greatly appreciate if you can mention from which particular country are you listening to this live session. And it's going live right now on the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, and there is a specific group as well for people in Pakistan that I do. So do mention that from where are you tuning in. Some of the updates, generally, I see Iman has already asked a question about CEC. I'll get towards the questions later. There are some important updates that I have to talk about. And I will keep that going on simultaneously. Sorry, it's been a while, and I did not prepare for this session beforehand, so just bear with me for a few pauses. Plan 2021. Okay, so the biggest update that is there is that we had the much awaited every year, and this is something that happens every year. The Department of Immigration of Canada, the Minister of Immigration, they come up with a 3-year immigration level plan, in which they provide the targets for the overall immigration, the number of immigrants that they're going to welcome, invite in the next 3 years. And they also talk about the specific streams. So these are broken down into the specific streams. Great news that they have actually increased the number of the immigration level numbers. What I will do is that I will share the screen with you folks. And we will discuss this. Yeah. So on my screen, and what I will do is that I will just zoom in a bit so that, is it? Yeah, I think it's well. So the recent immigration plan. Now, a lot of people, and I get to hear this from my clients. I get to hear all these on the social media platforms. Other immigration practitioners, they're talking about it as well. Few things that everybody was talking about was that because of COVID situation, probably Canadian immigration is going to be closed, or the numbers are going to be reduced. A lot of people have been talking about express entry being closed soon, or things like that. Well, the rumor mill is going to continue working, and there's going to be rumors all around. So just keep listening to them and just laugh at them, and that's all I can say. One thing that I must say to all of you, all the all the aspirants of Canadian immigration that Canadian immigration has been going on for decades, and it doesn't seem likely that it is going away anywhere. The only difference that happens is that with different governments and different policies, how they manage the immigration process, which streams they prefer, how they attract specific immigrants, that changes. So the process of immigration in itself doesn't change. If you're a skilled person who has good language ability, who has good education, your chances of migrating to Canada are always there, no matter which government is there. Yes, the change of policy, that does impact some people, that does benefit some people, that put some people in a negative situation. But immigration is not going anywhere. So with the recent immigration levels, the new plan for Canadian immigration levels, that has sort of thrashed away all these conspiracies and rumors that were there. Looking at the important numbers for 2021. So what government has decided is that the target number, if we go back 3 years, they had a target of attracting 1 million immigrants in next 3 years, which turned out about 333 immigrants every year. The number was staggered in a few years, but that was the number for 3 years. They've actually gone on to put up a number of about 1.2 million immigrants that they are going to attract and invite between 2021 to 2023. Now, this 1.2 million, first, it is divided between 3 years. And also there is a division, there's a further division. So not everybody, this is not all skilled migrants. Although the numbers for skilled migrants have been increased as well, and I'll talk about that. But this is not the number for just the skilled migrants. There's a lot of family migration. And when I say family migration, this is basically if you are a Canadian citizen or permanent resident who's based in Canada, spousal sponsorship, you get married, you bring in your spouse from outside of Canada. Now that's immigration as well. Then there are business people. Then there is the refugee claimants. Canada is pretty welcoming in terms of people applying for for asylum for various causes. So that number is included in this as well. And then there's other streams as well. So the target for 2021 overall target has been raised to 401 immigrants. This is always between a low and a high range. And because last year they were not able to process as many people as they had wanted, maybe. So see, there is always a low and a high range, and we all know that we're still in a COVID situation wherein processing delays are there. So because of that, they've kept a large difference between the low and high range. Now, the overall target is 401,000 immigrants for the whole of year. For most of you who are watching these streams, many of you who are outside of Canada, many of you who are inside Canada, but the skilled migrants applicants, the important number is like if we go on a further breakdown, so you see this is the total economic number, which is 232,000 spots. A further breakdown, important further breakdown that we have to have a look is, so there are these federal high skill category. This is where people in, say, the CEC class, people in FSWP class, basically the express entry. So this is where the numbers for express entry will be. Now there's other programs, like there's the pilot program, the caregiver agri-food pilot, RNIP, AINP, and the provincial nomination programs. So the PNP programs is now 80,000. So two good pieces of news, or two good stats, two stats which are good news for you guys, skilled migration aspirants. One is the large increase in number of federal high skilled applicants. Last year, this was somewhere around 90,000. The target was 90,000 with low range of about 85,000. So there has been an increase of about between 15 to 18,000. And this is off my head. I haven't had a look at the numbers for last year, but there is an increase of about 15 to 18,000 spots for the federal high skilled applicants. So this will include the federal skilled worker program applicants, the CEC applicants, and the federal skilled trades applicants. And we've seen that now the draws are all inclusive, and that most likely will be the policy going forward. I have been saying that most likely it is going to be all-inclusive draws from now onwards. So if that's the case, then the breakup of CEC and FSWP will depend on what is the composition of the pool, and we can't really predict about that. But if you have a look at this, the number has been increased by good so it was 90,000. We're increasing it by another. So between a 15 to 20% increase for federal high skilled streams. Now, this is a big increase, a 15 to 20% increase. How will this impact CRS and stuff? We'll discuss about that in detail. But 108, then 110, and 113. So next 3 years, skilled migrants, these numbers have been bumped up beyond expectation, I must say. A lot of people, us the practitioners, we were of the view that there might be some cut in numbers or stagnation, but the numbers have been increased like anything. So this is good news. Secondly, looking at provincial nomination programs. Now, I know that PNPs have become as competitive, at times more competitive in recent months or about a year. And a lot of people who previously used to think that PNPs are an easy route for them for Canadian immigration, it has become pretty challenging. What I would say that with 80,000 being the number set for PNP programs, and this was about close to about 70,000 for the last year. Now, with an increase of, say, again about 10 to 12% for PNPs, that means each province will be getting more spots with them. And that will lead the provinces in doing more draws, maybe allocating more number to people in various streams and categories. So see, the province of Ontario, they have been inviting people regularly. We've seen these tech draws, we've seen these general draws regularly, a few hundred people that they invite every time, between 400 to, they recently did a 700 people draw. So when they have more spots, that means they can invite more people. Also, maybe for smaller provinces, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, even the prairies, this may mean that a lot of express entry streams that they're not closed streams in the sense that those streams are there, but they've not invited anybody into that. So there is a possibility that they will invite people in the coming year. Ultimately, it depends on the province as to how they want to utilize these numbers that are allocated to them. This year, we saw Alberta having about 6,000 spots, but they ended up deciding that they're only going to use 4,000 of that. because of the COVID situation. But now that even province of Alberta has said that they are not going to issue work permits to people from outside the province, that actually means that they might be moving towards doing more draws and inviting more people in their PNP program. So two important stats for all of you to look at, aspirants of Canadian immigration, especially those who are outside of Canada. An increase of about 10 to 12% in the provincial nominee program numbers. And more importantly, the federal high skilled stream numbers moving about 20% up. So that's great news. Perfect. So this is something that I wanted to share. And yeah, one more update which has happened is that recently, just some days back, they've announced that there is now going to be more points for French language speakers or people who have ability in French language. And they can score up to about 50 CRS points. Now, this is good for some people, and this might come as a little consequence for some people. Excuse me. So, first of all, let's look at it objectively. A similar thing happened about a year ago. Not a year ago, but a couple of years ago now, in 2017, when they established the policy of having points for French language ability in the first place, and at the same time they also came up with the policy where you could have points for your siblings who are based in Canada. Once they established that, and these were additional points, 15 points for siblings, about 15 points for French language ability, and as a result of that, the CRS score went up. And since then, it has not really fallen down. Now, we cannot just use that analogy to say that there will be an increase in CRS right away. And that's probably one of the reasons that express entry draw did not happen. Because what they have to do is that they have to update all the express entry profiles, because people who have French language ability and they're part of the pool, they have to update their CRS scores based on that. Those people will have a higher score, and then it will be an updated score in the express entry pool, and then they'll do a draw. So that's probably the reason that express entry draw did not occur. So now with the additional points for French, definitely some people who have French language ability, they have a certain language ability, they will have they'll see their CR scores going up, which means that they'll move up. Now, depending on what their overall CRS is, because see, if somebody has French language ability, that does not mean that they're already in the top CRS score range. They might be in 420s, they might be in 430s, and they might get another 20 points. Now, if there is a good number of people who are already with, say, CRS scores of 450s, and then they have an addition of CRS points, that means we'll have more people in the high CRS score range, and that might make it more competitive. But definitely this will have an impact, and the competitiveness of the pool in terms of the cutoff CRS scores might go up in the immediate future. This is also an opportunity. I know a lot of people have been working on learning French and doing the French language test. So this is an opportunity where people can actually learn French and have additional score. So yeah, that's an update as well. Let's see how it sort of rolls out. We still have to see as to how many people are able to achieve the French language ability at a level where they can get those additional points, and what is their overall score before that. So we still have to look at that. So now what I'll do is that I'll move towards the questions. Iman says, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Do you think there will be a CC coming draw? I'm not of the opinion, and if you watch my videos and posts regularly, and for those who do, they know that I have been saying for a while. Again, that's my opinion. That's nothing of a IRCC policy matter, but I don't think that now there will be CEC specific draws. It was only at that time because of the COVID situation. I don't think so that we're going to have these kind of CEC draws. Even if there are, it's going to be an occasional one. It's not going to be a regular one. It's going to be all inclusive draws. Qasim Manzoor Baja, I have one question. I am residing in Australia and I want to come to Canada. Qasim, I don't know what's the question. This is more of an information that you're residing in Australia now. You want to come to Canada. You can post your question. If you are looking at being assessed for your options, then you'll have to book a consultation. You can send an email on the email address which is on the screen and request for a consultation, and we can discuss your options. Somebody has mentioned just Pakistan, so it's Facebook user. So I believe you are mentioning that you're from Pakistan. Hello and welcome. Tehseen Salim, age 45, education level, ECA report, masters, Canadian level. With age 45, your chances are almost none in terms of skill migration. You will be losing so many points for age, actually not gaining any points for age, that you will not be able to cover up those points in other factors. So in all honesty, skill migration options are totally out. There can be possibilities if you have a skill set which for which you can find a job in Canada and an employer offers you a job. In that case, there can be some options. There are some regional programs, or you could be offered a work permit. But finding a job is not all that easy if you're outside of Canada. And in all honesty, we are an immigration consulting firm. We are not a recruitment firm, so we cannot help you with finding jobs. A lot of people ask that questions. We cannot help people find jobs. They're seen either it will be looking for an employer who can offer you a job, and then based on that, or you would have to look at options of investment in Canada. At age 45, other skilled migration streams are pretty much closed for you. Aksa Hayat, I'm a doctor. Can I will get PR easily? Aksa, there's a lot of factors that you have to have a look at. First, your profession. If you're a doctor, you are going to get maximum points in terms of education. Your qualification will be at the top level, which is professional degree or a master's degree. Now, other factors which are important are what is your age. If you're a doctor, right now, the only possibility for you is the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You cannot apply in other PNP programs until unless, like Nova Scotia, they have the requirement of physicians. So if you get a job offer by a local hospital over there, that's different. But in terms of skill migration, your only option is the Federal Skilled Worker Program. And with the Federal Skilled Worker Program, you right now, the way things are, you must have at least 3 years of work experience. Your age should not be more than 30 years, and you should have a strong language score, CLB 9. Like if we're talking of IELTS, we're talking of 8 in listening and 7 in all others. If you meet those conditions, yes, you can get PR. You have good chances of getting PR, and you can contact us for our services. Tessin, I've already answered. Arjun, hi Arjun. I hope you're doing well. Arjun is a regular attendee of this session, and we discuss. And yes, it's been a while. I have been crazy busy, and because this is weekend and this is the family time, so I have been occupied with a lot of work and personal stuff, and that's why I've not really uploaded much videos as well. I'm currently waiting for my IQAS report, after which my score will move to 471 by end of November. Do you think I can make it before May 21? Arjun, I do feel, but let's see with because of this whole French thing. As I said, we don't know as to where these profiles are placed. People who have French language ability. So those who already have French language ability and have had a certain score, they'll have a jump or a bump in their scores right away without doing anything additional. So somebody who has a score of say 430 and they have certain French language ability, their score might jump up to 450 or 460 because of this. So let's see how this impacts. But 471 is a good score. Also, keep in mind with the new immigration plan that has been announced, I'm pretty optimistic for next year. For a lot of people who are in the pool, next year is going to be the year where we might see a lot of people in say 460s being invited as well. That's my take, because these large numbers, and if we if it is about 108 as the target, it can go up to 110. With draws happening regularly, for this year we've touched something around 80,000 plus already. If you have about 20,000 more, 25,000 more spots, that actually means if there is a 4,000 draw average, it's about 6 more draws. So 6 additional draws, or an increase in number of ITs being issued in each of the draw. Whatever policy IRCC picks, that definitely means the CRS cutoff will drop. The only factor for which we have to wait and see how it comes into play is how this additional how the policy of having additional points for French language ability will play out, because that is definitely going to increase the CRS points for some people who are already in the pool, or people who will enter the pool and previously would have had a certain CRS. Now they can have more CRS points because of French ability. So we'll have to wait and see, but I still feel that with about 15 to 20% rise in the number for federal high skill programs in the immigration level plans, in next year, the CRS cutoff will drop down from where it is standing. So stay positive, Arjun. Hopefully, you will be getting an invite soon. Fair enough. Next, Facebook user says, I need information regarding business immigration. So if you go on, I have a YouTube channel, and you can go on that, and there's a video. If you go on YouTube and you just type Sharik Immigration, you'll go to my YouTube channel. And in the list of videos, look for a video which is Canadian business immigration. where I have briefed the various possibilities of Canadian business immigration. And if you would then like to discuss your case in detail, you can book a consultation session on by going on my website, and we can discuss what possibilities are there for you. Okay, the next is, can you tell me how they verify inquiry about the work experience? Well, they can use any means. There is no one specific mean. They can call the employer. They can send email, and also keep in mind that they do their own due diligence as well. So it might not be that they ring up and say that they want to verify your experience. They might have a look at it in a different ways. So there are different ways. So my sister wants to immigrate here with the Saskatchewan PNP, but I live in Ontario and now moving to Saskatchewan. After how many months of my stay in Saskatchewan, she can take sibling points for PNP? So generally it is after 12 months. Because you have to provide evidence of your residency, and if you go on their website, they have it listed. What I will do is so it's 12 months because you have to provide a list of documentation. Yeah, it's 12 months. Before that, you could try, but then that will be the discretion of the provincial bodies if they accept that or not. Moving on. So Sri Kavya, hi Sri Kavya, and Sri Kavya has, and I'm sorry if I pronounce any of the names wrong. I always say that, but I apologize if I do that. 469 CRS, any scope for ITA soon this year? Let's say see for this particular year, because for this year, now that we've had a gap, we did not see an express entry draw. So that actually adds pressure. There might be a draw next week, or there might be a draw the week after. Let's see. We'll have to see. And then with people having points for French ability, that might impact as well. So 469 this year, let's see. It's just there on the margin. But I do feel that with the new numbers coming in, 469 might be a good possibility in some months. Mac, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. I hope you're well. Is it mandatory to get the reference letter from HR department, or your ex-senior can also provide that letter who's still working there? So work experience letter can be by HR or your line manager or immediate supervisor. It's not supposed to be by HR manager only. It can be by your immediate supervisor. Musa, hi Sharik. Hello Musa. Are there any stats on the number of expenditure, or is there any quota for issuing ITS to FSW? Musa, there isn't any quota for FSW. I don't know if you watched the video from the beginning, but I did share. I talked about the new immigration level plans. That's how it is. So they have a number for, or the quota for federal high skill streams, wherein you have the, which is basically the express entry, where you have FSW, not technically express entry, because some provincial nomination programs work through that as well, but the federal skilled worker program applicants, the CEC applicants, and the federal skilled trade applicants. This is where it is. Now, between the two, CEC and FSWP, it will depend on what is the composition of pool. There's no division, because if it is an all-inclusive draw, they do not pick FSW people or CEC people. They pick the top ranked people in the pool. So that will depend on how it works out. And there's no stat as to how many FSW applicants are in express entry pool. It is not known to anybody. There are calculations that people make, and they present that. Like, I have my own maths. I don't really share it because that's my own mathematics, and it can be misleading for people. But generally, there's a larger number of FSWP applicants in express entry pool, especially people with scores of 400 and above. This number can vary between, say, about 80 to 85% of FSWP and 15 to 20% of CEC. But there's no specific stat on this. IRCC might have it, but it's not something that they make it public. Diljit, hi sir, if IELTS test expires after ITA, is it affect the file? Diljit, so the important thing in terms of validity of your scores is it's not ITA which is important. It is application submission. Once you've submitted your PR application and you have AOR, if your IELTS expires after receiving AOR, acknowledgement of receipt, then it is fine. But if you have not submitted your PR application, say for instance, you got the ITA and you have 90 days to submit your documents, and once you got the ITA, your IELTS expires in 30 days, and you have not submitted your PR application, then it's not valid, and you have to provide an updated IELTS. If it expires, because it's your responsibility to have it updated before that. If it has expired, then you need to, before you submit your PR application, you need to have an updated IELTS, and that updated IELTS score must not be lower than what you had. Actually, your CRS points should not go below the score of the last picked person. So it should not go below the cutoff CRS if you have an updated IELTS. So it's not ITA, it's your PR application date that matters. Rajesh, what do you suggest for the chance for CRS score 370? 370, I don't know if it was a typo or if 370 is very, very low. 370, absolutely no chance with the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You might look at opportunities of PNPs. Right now, with most of PNPs being very competitive and not inviting people from outside of Canada, 370, depending on how things are, you might look at Saskatchewan. They don't invite people on the basis of CRS, but they have their own 100-point grade. So you have to have a look at that. Or you might have some possibility in Alberta, but then again, Alberta right now is not inviting people, and they might also they look for people for specific knocks and people who have a connection within the province, but they do invite people with CRS as low as 300. But with CRS 370, federal is out. You need to look for other options. Rabia Khurshid, hi, please, I have a question. Sure, Rabia, I'll look. Yes, please answer. Tell me about PNP Saskatchewan. So this is a whole topic of discussion, Rabia. PNP Saskatchewan, I've done a video on that. I'm not sure where are you from. That video was actually in Urdu, Hindi language, and so you could have a look at that. I will be doing a video on PNP on Saskatchewan, but Saskatchewan has its own points grade where they award points for people who have CLB 8, the highest number of points. You get the highest number of points for experience if you have 10 years experience, so people with 9 to 10 years experience, master's qualification, and they grant points, the highest number of points in terms of age for people with age 34. So that's Saskatchewan. It's a whole topic. It will take at least an hour to talk about. So I can't really be going into the details. Madia Hassan, I want to go to Canada. I have done masters in project management, 27 experience in which province? Madia, if with your profile, you don't need to look at provinces. I would suggest that if your age is 27, you have a master's degree, and I must emphasize this should be a 17 or 18 years of education. It should not be a 2 years bachelor's and then a 2 years master's. If you have a master's, you're very close to 3 years of work experience. Start preparing for IELTS. Get a good IELTS score, which should be 8 in listening and 7 in all others, and you can apply for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You get this PR, you are entitled to move to Canada and then settle in any province that you would want. Now, once you're in Canada, then you can decide as to which province you would want to be based in. Ontario, where I'm based, is the biggest province in terms of population and economy. There's other brilliant places, British Columbia, the city of Vancouver, Alberta's beautiful. Then you can decide. There's a lot of factors. But I think with your profile, the way to go about should be that you should start preparing for your IELTS, get the score of 8 in listening and 7 in all other modules. At the same time, apply for your Educational Credential Assessment, ECA, which is the Canadian equivalence of your non-Canadian degree. Once you have these two, you can submit your express entry profile and apply for Canadian PR. Good luck with that. Next. So Rajesh, SINP have any chances for age saturated candidates? Rajesh, now this depends. There is possibility for people with slightly higher ages in SINP, but then that depends as to what age are we talking of. Up until 34, before you reach 35, you get maximum points for age. So that's great. Once you move beyond that, you lose 2 points. And what we've seen is that even if you have everything else perfect and you are beyond 34, you come to point mark of 68. And they've not invited a lot of people on that score lately. There was one particular draw where they did, but then you don't know. Also in immigration, I keep saying that things never stay the same. It fluctuates. So there is the possibility of score falling down. And there is always a possibility of being invited. So people in their mid-30s, early 30s, Saskatchewan has a good possibility. The only thing to keep in mind is that they require, for maximum points for work experience, you would then require about 9 to 10 years of work experience over there. So it's not just age. You have to look at the experience factor as well. Umar Bashir, age 30, education, MBA, country Pakistan, what are the chances and what band score I would have required for immigration? Umar, you need to score 8 in listening and 7 in all other modules for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Also, depending on what experience you have, what is your national occupation classification code, NOC code, there can be a possibility of provincial nominations like the Ontario PNP. They do invite people, and although it has been very competitive as well, where they have been inviting people with scores of 460 and above, but there is still, like, if you're 30 or 31 and you're losing some points in terms of the Federal Skilled Worker Program, there is a possibility. Now that will depend what profession you have. There's only a limited number of professions that they invite, but you have a good chance. I think you should not be wasting any more time if you are serious about Canadian immigration, because you're already 30, you're going to lose points from now onwards. Get done with your IELTS. You should have, as I mentioned, an IELTS score of 8 in listening and 7 in all other modules, and start your ECA, Educational Credential Assessment process, as soon as possible, and then be part of the express entry pool. Iman Hamza, can we claim points from both Canadian training certificate with study permit as Canadian work experience points for? Can you claim from an additional training program for 2 years as both work experience and? Iman, I'm not able to understand your question. But keep in mind, if you are saying that you were enrolled in a Canadian program and you gain points for that and also work experience at that time, that doesn't really work. I think that's what you wanted to mention. So Canadian work experience has to be not part of your study. Like if you were doing a co-op, that cannot be Canadian work experience. Mr. Fernandez, given the updated to CR score with French, how much you anticipate the score rising? Like now it's for, it will, I mentioned that already. It will rise. How much we have to see, because, you know, these are speculations and I don't really like doing those speculations. There are there's what, 140,000 people in express entry pool. So there's thousands and thousands of people who are listening to all this opinion, and a lot of other YouTubers who are not immigration practitioners, they sensationalize a lot of stuff. I don't like doing that. None of us knows how many people in the pool have French language ability. None of us know that. Maybe IRCC might have a stat, but I don't think that they do that kind of stat as well, because express entry pool is very dynamic. It changes on a daily basis. So a report that they might pull today might not be all that relevant in a week's time. But still, they might have some data. They don't share this data. And I have absolutely no clue as to how many people are there. So it will be mere speculation. There is a possibility that this may increase the CRS cutoff, at least maybe in the near future. But let's see. If we do not have so many people in the express entry pool having French language ability, say in the top CRS score range, it might not impact so much. But if people with French language ability already have high CRS scores like 450s, even 440s and above, that will definitely impact. Their scores will rise sharply. So let's wait and see. It might have an impact. How much? That will be speculation. I don't want to do that. Rajesh, if we get 60 for CNP, 60 is basic eligibility. If you don't have 60, you cannot apply. You cannot be part of the pool for Saskatchewan. But they have been inviting people on scores of 69 and 70. So yes, 60, you will be in the pool, but will you get an invite? You'll have to wait and see. For that, 60 still seems quite far from where they've been inviting. Musa Akram, with a UK master's degree, do I still need to get them evaluated from West? And also I have a 2.6 years. What? Musa, I've said this time and again. And if you watch my videos, people keep asking those questions again and again. Although there's stuff on that. You need an ECA if you have a non-Canadian education. Now, that should answer. A UK master's degree, an Australian master's degree, a US master's degree are all non-Canadian education. If you have a non-Canadian education, you need an ECA. So that should answer. And there's not just West, there's other ECA bodies as well, but you can definitely go through West. It has its benefits. And also, I have a 2.6 year experience currently. Would that be counted as 2 years? That will be counted as 2 years. Common sense prevails in matters of immigration. Rabia Khurshid, how can I contact you? Okay, so Rabia, if you would want to use the consultation services, and I must say this particular session is free, but I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I practice. So if any of you would want to use the consultation services, I will share that. The way it works is that for a basic review, there's the email address on the screen, somewhere down here. Yeah, yeah. You can see it's info@sharikimmigration.com. You can send an email. You can send your profile for a basic review. My staff will probably give you a questionnaire, and you will fill that, and we will let you know what your eligibility is. If you want to discuss your case directly with me, you have to book a consultation. And for that, what you do is, sorry, the internet seems to be a little slow, but I will. Okay, so I will. Just give me a minute. Okay, so this is my firm's website, which is sharikimmigration.com, for all of you, because this is something that which a query which keeps coming, and you can ask your questions in this session, or you can post them on the comment section, and we are happy to answer them. But if you want a case specific consultation session, for that you have to book a paid consultation session, because I do this professionally. I'm an RCIC licensed here in Canada, and this is my bread and butter. So you go on the website, which is sharikimmigration.com, and you have the web link on the screen. On the home page, you will see this option. Again, I will zoom in. So at the top of the page, you will see an option which is book consultation. Click on that, and this will take you to this particular page. All the details about the consultation session are there. A consultation session is charged at 100 Canadian dollars for a 30-minute session. It is a virtual session, which is done through Zoom or Skype. So you book, you pay for the session. Once you make the payment, my staff will schedule a time with you for the virtual session. It's a 30-minute virtual session, like done through Zoom or Skype. So this is the way to book a consultation session for those who are interested. I'll remove this. Perfect. And we'll move on to the questions. And I'll try and be a little quick because we're close to an hour mark. So Rabia, if you want a case-specific discussion, talking about your case in specific, or anybody else, this is how you book a consultation session. Otherwise, you can send an email with a generic query. We can review your profile for free, and you can post comments on the comment section on our videos and stuff, and we'll be happy to answer that. Mac, thanks a lot, Hassan. Is it okay to show proof of funds from two bank accounts, or should I club them in a single account? It's perfectly fine if it's two different accounts, as long as these accounts are both yours. It's perfectly fine. Rabia, you're asking about paid consultation. I've already mentioned that. So just go on the website, book the consultation session, and and you can make the payment, and then you'll get an email from my staff, and they'll schedule the timing with you. Tahir, what do you suggest for CRS 461 NOC code of finance manager? Should I keep my fingers crossed? Tahir, hopefully with the new plan that has been shared, probably in 2021, we might see the CRS drop down to 460s. How much? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know which specific NOC you have, but there is the possibility of such NOCs in Ontario as well. So have a look at that as well. Hari Krishna, hi brother, bachelor degree and 2-year experience as software engineer. If you are a software engineer, then there is a possibility in Alberta. They do invite this particular NOC. Right now, it seems that they're not inviting people from outside of the province. And also, they generally tend to invite people who have a close relative there as well. But your IELTS is fine. Depending on what CRS score you have, your NOC can be invited. There is a possibility. Navpreet, hi Sharik, what could be the impact of extra points being awarded? I've already mentioned that. It will definitely have an impact. The cutoff CRS might go higher, but we'll have to wait and see as to how many people actually take benefit out of this. Will CRS 460 any chance of getting ITA 2020? Vimal, again, sorry if I pronounce the names wrong. Yes, I believe the CRS will drop down in 2021. How low? We'll have to wait and see. What are the timelines? Navpreet, the timelines at this stage are delayed. That's all I can say. And it depends on each case. You cannot have a generic timeline for everybody. Now, I don't know what background you have. Different people have different kind of timelines. It depends which visa office your application is being processed at. It also depends on the case officer, on the details of your case. So, there are security clearances, depending on work experience. Where did you get your work experience from? So all these factors matter. So just stay put. Your application has been submitted. If it has been submitted already, soon there will be positive outcome. So, but stay patient. If you cross age 30, technically one loses 5 points for age. If you receive IT at 29 and turn 30 would. So your lock-in age is, now this depends. This is a very tricky one. The technical time when, if you've received an ITA at age 29, then it will stay there. Then it will stay there, and this will not impact. And also, important thing is once you submit your PR application. So if your date of birth changes after that, or if your date of birth changes, or if your IELTS changes after that, then it doesn't really impact because you've submitted your PR application. Dr. Aslan, Assalamu alaikum assalam. I want to move in Canada for my master's. And is it best for PR after completing my master? Aslan, my firm is not involved in admission and all that process. You can apply for excuse me, any masters. Depending on the duration of your masters, you will be able to get post study work permit of 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, depending on the duration of your, and then you can start working, and then you can apply. But just doing a master's will not entitle you for PR. And you have to have other requirements being met as well: age, education, work experience. So not just masters. I'll take last few questions. Mansoor, I'm electrical engineer with master's degree, having 3.5 years experience, and my age is 20 years, and my ECA in progress. Perfect, Mansoor. If that's the case, you're in a very good situation. You just have to score well on your IELTS. Mansoor, everything else seems fine. The only thing is that with master's degree, hopefully I don't know which ECA body did you apply to. Hopefully you applied to a body which will give you a master's equivalent. So if you have master's, your age is less than 30, you have 3 years of work experience, now you have to score 8 in listening and 7 in all of the modules, and you have very good chance of being successful under the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Ozzy, hi Ozzy, hope you're doing good. In a big experience letter, there is a 1 month difference of dates, which we have put in application and experience letters. Ozzy, I can't really, because I don't know all these details. There is a 1 month difference of dates, which we have put in application experience letters. You should explain it. Ideally, you should have explained it earlier, but if that is the case, then you should explain it. Without reviewing the documents and stuff, I can't really help on that because this is case specific, and I have mentioned this, that these matters, this is legal advice, legal opinion. I can't really suggest like that. You could raise a web form where you can mention that this was done as a mistake, and let's see if the officer accepts that. So think about raising a web form, IRCC web form. Solid Lens, I'm 35, working as IT manager, have almost 10 years of experience. What stream do you recommend for the immigration? Should I go for study visa? Now, in terms of immigration, for your profile, you could look at the possibility of Alberta. It's not inviting people right now, but they will do it. People with IT knocks can look at that. You could also look at Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan might have some possibility, although with 35, you've crossed the highest point mark for age, which is 34, but you could look at that. Study visa is totally your option. You can definitely apply. That will increase your chances, your options for skilled immigration. Ozzy, if you've not submitted your application, you can definitely mention that in a letter of explanation. But as I said, until I have the documents, Mansoor, you're saying Wes is quick, but sometimes depending on your bachelor's and your master's, at times they do not give you equivalency of a master's. I don't know which institution, so stay put. They're pretty quick. They will get back soon. So hopefully you'll have. So I think that's all that I have for today. Mac is saying thanks. You're welcome. With this, I will ask for a leave for today. Thank you for joining the session. Good luck to all those who've had invitations, who are part of the pool. A lot of people send in queries and questions. Keep in mind that this is my profession. If you would want to use our services and have case-specific advising, you have to book a consultation session. No compulsion. You can do all these processes on your own. A lot of people do their express entry processing on their own. You can definitely do it on your own. Not asking for that. This weekend session that I do is for the purpose where people can ask questions. Some case-specific questions, because this is legal advice, definitely can't do, but I try and help as much as I can. Do watch YouTube videos. There's a lot of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. You'll get a lot of explanation on various stuff. If you have specific topics in mind, do suggest, and I'll be making videos. I've been a little slack on that, and not been able to make a lot of videos last 2 weeks, but I will be doing that. So once again, thanks for joining in for this session, and I'll see you with another video and another live session next week. Till that time, take very good care of yourself and your families. Bye-bye.